All right, we are live. It's the Spin and Backfist MMA show. It is Robbie Fox, Jack Mack, and Big Ev as always, and we are here to break down UFC 301 this week. We were talking about these cards leading up to 301. It was kind of like it's not a bad card, but when you put it next to 300 and 302 and 299 and even 298, it does seem to be a little dip for the UFC. It's going to be coming right back up, but we're going to break down a lot of the matchups. It's a good card. They got some good prelims, obviously a decent main card, good matchup. So how are we feeling? I know Ev is in North Dakota as well. You see he's in a hotel. He's in North Dakota for Pick Central. I think you're muted, Jack.
I'm feeling good. I just unmuted myself. A little rough start, but great comment from Moran K just now. It's not a bad card, but it's one of the worst pay-per-views. At least I can really remember. I know the Canada one was a little bit tough.
Yeah, that's a decent way to put it.
But it was saved with like a great fight. But yeah. I don't know what to say, but I mean, here's the thing: we're gonna be tuned in no matter what. It's gonna be fun. We'll be here after the card. It should be good. I mean, it's Jose Aldo's return. Pantoja Urseg is interesting. There's a lot of fun names on it. Like, hopefully, it's just something that the Brazil crowd kind of has a resurgence after their less than stellar performance the last time. I mean, Glover Teixeira retired in an empty arena. It's just that's always tough.
That was
I think I'm calling my shot. I think we get a kind of a banger card in terms of like the fights like in the cage. It's not like
I hope so.
On paper in terms of like just like basically on paper. The last couple of years, it probably is like one of the lower pay-per-views in terms of like name brand value. But just like looking at like the prelims, like Costa Borjas kicking off the night, like that's going to be a scrap. Like when I kind of just like look through the card, even like Jamie Malarkey, like every fight he's in, like War, Dragon Close Silva, Silva like hurt Armin, and he throws hard. Like there'd be like even like Gene Silva's like kind of both Silva, kind of like similar. Him Gomez is gonna be a good fight. Like Elvis Brenner Orobai is gonna be legitimately like carnage. Like I think I just think when I look at the card up and down, like Jack Shore, Brito as the like.
Yep, I like that fight a lot.
Like, there's a lot of I think there's a lot of fights that are gonna like create just great aesthetic fights. Like I mean, they're just gonna create just violence, just like big I think there's gonna be big time contention for fight of the night. I think it's gonna over deliver.
And of course, we want to shout out New Amsterdam Vodka, born from an uncompromising passion for great vodka. They are the official vodka of Barstool Sports. While making great vodka is their passion, they are most inspired by those who stay true to who they are and share an unbridled passion for everything they do, from pursuing their dreams, celebrating with friends, having an epic night out. Find your wins with New Amsterdam Vodka. They are the best in the biz. They'll be in the octagon, I'm sure. They always are official vodka of the UFC and Barstool. So we love New Amsterdam. They're the best. Pink Whitney, their normal products, always.
Yeah, shout out New Amsterdam. I mean, they've been with us since the start of the new year, which we love, and it's a great product. Shout out Ryan Whitney. Shout out Pink Whitney. Shout out everything. It's been in my life since I was able to drink. It was part of college and whatnot. And it's what a pair, New Amsterdam and vodka, or New Amsterdam and Barstool. So shout out New Amsterdam. It will be flowing on Saturday night.
Absolutely. Before we get into the card, there is some stuff to talk about news-wise, or like Ryan Garcia tested positive for steroids. Not great. Now, Gervonta Davis and Eddie Hearn are going at each other on Twitter, like as we speak. I saw I think someone said like, you're a clown. And then Gervonta said like, I'll knock that head off your shoulders or something. And Eddie Hearn responded like, yeah, maybe with a step stool you will. So they're like really like they're going at it. And then meanwhile, Canelo's going at Oscar De La Hoya. Yesterday, he's like, you pendejo, pinch motherfucker. He's in his face. That was amazing. I was ready to go to war for Canelo after that. It's been kind of crazy, and like not as much crazy news in MMA as there has been in boxing.
It's an interesting time with specifically Ryan Garcia with the Austrian, which is it's not a steroid, it's a SARM, which it works
Yeah.
very similarly. Steroids are, I think, a little bit healthier for your liver. I think SARMs you kind of just take usually orally, pause, but like it's oral, and it will go through your liver. And I know this because one of my friends had an issue with it. But what do you really do? I'm a little bit confused with the timing of it. It was just supposedly
Like the day
before the
of the
fight, and
fight,
now
right? Like something like that. Yeah.
it's taken this long to come out. Austrian would give you an advantage, like it's legit. Clemson football players were seen using it a bunch back in like 2017, 28, or no, 2019, 2018, 2019. And, but then again, a belt didn't change hands. It's not like he would have to give up the belt. I guess Devin Haney could sue, but like that would look like a bitch move. But still, maybe there's something in the contract he has to give some money back. But I'm so confused how it came out when it came out. This fight happened a little bit ago. It doesn't take that long to Austrian's like something they check for right away. Like the NCAA checks for Austrian. This isn't something that's like top of the top. Like you can get Austrian right now on online, like easy. It's like this isn't like somebody in a
Maybe I
Russian
should get on
lab
it.
like trying to do like that big Olympics thing that they did, and there was that
Yeah.
great documentary on Icarus where they would like change samples and whatnot. Austrian's pretty available, so I don't know why it took so long to come out.
No, this is Jack. You said it. I thought the weirdest thing was how long it. Like if you're saying it has an advantage like this in boxing, like you're not gonna like you're gonna like it'd be like a John Jones DC situation.
Yeah,
Like you'd be like, yo, like the fight's off, like you're on juice, and I know it's not literally juice, but you explained it like it's a steroid, it's an illegal banned substance, or not illegal, like it's banned substance for sports. So I mean, I don't know how like it just the whole thing's just very fishy to me. And I can be honest, after the okey doke that Ryan Garcia just played on America and the world, I kind of believe him. I think I believe him. Call me crazy. I don't know. They were calling him crazy too, and then he beat the brakes off Devin Haney. So I mean, I kind of believe him. It just feels weird. The whole thing just feels weird. And I think clearly, like in the boxing world, which like we all know, I mean, it's corrupt as fuck. I mean, they didn't want him to win. How could they have wanted him to? I mean, maybe now you can make the argument like he had so much like gained so much notoriety almost from the lead up and all that build up that like his next one hit with him winning is bigger than if Haney had just won, because everyone would have just been like, oh, like we knew that's gonna happen. The shit is like he didn't care. He was drinking blah 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 the whole time. So I mean the whole thing to me is just very weird. But I didn't even see. I was going to the tanks. I didn't even see that the tank stuff until I just was like looking a little bit after you said it, Bob.
Yeah, he's freaking out right now.
Yeah, I mean boxing. I would just love. There hasn't been an explanation yet for why it's taken so long, because in combat sports, if I was someone who was in, we listened to Jorge Masvidal talk about it. It's like he really hates cheaters like that, which makes sense. But also, let's say I was this really clean fighter, and it's like you would want the guarantee of you're not going in there against some juiced up guy, at least to the degree where you're at a top promotion and you're fighting. You know, it's number one slot on a pay-per-view. You would think they would say to you, hey, like even if there was a situation where it's like, hey, this guy got popped a little bit, it's not that big. Do you still want to go on with the fight? Yada, yada. But even that, I'm just so confused. Like you would want the guarantee of not, because fighting somebody for 12 rounds who is on performance enhancing drug can really fuck you up it's really that big. Because you know, I mean, the punches are harder and whatnot, and it can not end your career, but cut it short a little bit. So I'm so confused with that. And I'm not the only one confused with that. That was the number one narrative, and we still haven't gotten an explanation.
That is weird. Yeah. Very bizarre.
Also, the thing quick too, I would like Jack. You said it briefly. I was gonna say before I forgot the money thing. I'm very curious about, like Garcia's purse. Like, what happens with that? Because obviously, like with betting stuff, like you ain't get like if you bet Haney, like you ain't getting your money back. Like that's
I want my money back. I want my money back.
Long gone. And Garcia, like if you bet Garcia, you ain't giving it back. Like that's in your pocket. It's too late. You spent it or whatever. So that's the thing I'd be curious about is like how much like I mean I guess at their level like you think he probably doesn't even have like a win money, you think, or you think maybe he does? He might, I guess. I wouldn't. My guess would be not, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So like I don't know. So maybe not. Maybe like there's no real.
But didn't he said he made more money than Devin, which wouldn't really make any sense if maybe they had like it. How would he make more than Devin in this fight? The second fight makes sense. Like he would make more because it would be he's the main event. But the main attraction, I mean, I know he sold it, but the contracts were signed before that. I would assume that Devin would have gotten more. He had the belt. Here's the thing. I don't know if we even got the official numbers. That was one of those that like it was a graphic, and Ryan Garcia was like, "I made 50 million. Devin Haney made 30, which is a huge difference. If like there's no win, but
I mean, no chance he made $50 million for like his. You think? I don't. That seems. That seems.
I don't know.
So high, yeah.
That seems incredibly high.
I thought that was a graphic he shared. So, but I mean, that could be just him, you know.
Like sharing. If he made, we're obviously some level talking on our ass, but I mean, what do you think? 10? I mean,
I would assume it.
50,
I would think closer to 10 than 50.
For sure. That for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he also claims he made 12 million betting on himself.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was, 10 or 12, whatever, something like that.
I don't know. I really have no idea.
Because I mean, obviously, I'm sure. Obviously, his purse is tied into the pay-per-view numbers. Like you say, we don't have those yet. And he gave 1.5. He gave 1.5 million to Haney
because of the weight miss.
Because of the weight, yeah. So I mean, or it seemed to me. I think they just I think they did the handshake bet at the press conference. I think it was more like they had to renegotiate once he missed. And I would think that he just was like, hey, like let's slide over 1.5 million from my purse to yours and call it good. And I'm sure Haney was good. Obviously, he was good with that.
There
it is. There's the graphic.
This is the tweet from him on April 25th. 50-35. I mean, it looks like it's from that Happy promotion, Happy Fight or whatever it's called, promotion. But that's the one that I was referencing. That I mean, 50 would be a lot. That's Canelo Floyd money late in their careers too.
And speaking of Floyd, actually, perfect transition because Hot Billy wants to know, is Floyd really being held hostage in Dubai? There are some rumors right now that Floyd is in with the government and they're keeping him there and he's got debt to them. That's they called it something like not fighting related, or they implied, I think it was gambling debt. I don't know if any of that's true. I don't know if anyone reputable has put that out there.
I don't think anybody reputable has. I've seen some videos of him talking about it. It's a little bit weird. I want to put it past Floyd to just say that to like get his name in the news. But I don't know. It's a little. Floyd's financial situation has always made no sense to me. It's like, why is he still fighting? Is he broke or is he not? He made so much money. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess Gervonta is going out there and saying it as well.
So, but he was on like face, like he was on something with Bill Haney, like kind of recently. No,
they were on
like after the fight,
they were on Instagram Live.
That's what it was, Instagram Live. Yeah, I thought that was like a couple days after the fight.
Yeah, he was in Dubai at the time. I think he was on his yacht. He was saying.
Hot Billy has made up his own story, or maybe given us the true story in the chat. You can never tell with Hot Billy, but he said supposedly a buddy of his stole jewelry. They won't let him go until he returns it. But the friend has gone dark on Floyd. Again, coming from Hot Billy, we have no idea the validity of this. We don't have no idea what percentage of it is true, but it sounds like something that could happen.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather
Hot Billy
faces.
says he's not joking. This is what he heard. So this is Hot Billy source. Floyd paid the amount the jewelry is worth, but they want the jewelry. This sounds like they're like you got to send the Rock there, and he's gonna like get the Fabergé egg for the minute. It's like it sounds like a movie.
I mean, chaos. I love Hot Billy. I kind of hope it's. I don't know what I hope it is. Honestly, he's got me. I'm on my toes.
It sounds entertaining.
Floyd Mayweather
sounds like a movie I'd watch.
Is being held hostage in Dubai because allegedly one of his friends stole jewelry, got away with it, and blocked all communication with Floyd.
Hot Billy, he's dead on.
Hot Billy's got facts. See, but that's why he keeps us on his toes because the next one, you don't know.
He'll work in an original, and then it'll be a true story.
Yeah, because the next one, Sage Northcote, will be a big SEAL guy.
Yeah,
you just don't know. You just never know.
Also, we've gotten some fight announcements since our last show. One that just happened literally right before the show, I think, is Giga versus Arnold Allen for a pay-per-view. Is it 302?
Yeah, on 304 in Manchester.
304. Oh, of course, the Manchester card. Arnold Allen.
I'd assume on the main card.
Yeah,
Arnold Allen's the card guy there for sure. I would think.
Good fight, but do any of us think Giga has a shot in that?
I think Arnold should be a big favorite, and if he's not, I'll be betting him big because I think he smokes him.
Yeah, I would assume Arnold will open like around -180. I think that's a good bet there. Like, if he's not in the -200s, I'll definitely be on him.
Same,
I think
sure.
Arnold can match Giga's speed, and I know Giga looked okay against Alex Caceres, but it wasn't like it was like this unbelievable. And also, it's Caceres. I mean, it's just different. I mean,
yeah, he and Arnold Allen.
And then Arnold Allen, I mean, really, he's on a 2-fight skid, but he looked pretty good against Holloway. Holloway took that fight, but he looked good, and then Holloway's only looked better. And then Avalev, I mean, there were some people that scored it for him. So and he dropped Avalev. Like, that's a guy that's on a 2-fight skid that's almost one of the more impressive 2-fight losing skids in the UFC right now. Like, he's still, in my mind, a top tier, could potentially hold the belt one day.
Yeah,
he's top five for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah,
fun fact from Mitt Romney in the chat.
Whatever, definitely top 5 featherweight.
This is a fun fact from Mitt Romney in the chat. This is Jonathan Martinez' first fight in front of a crowd since February of 2020, before the pandemic.
Wow. Been
kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of guys like that. I know, like, Billy Q's gotten fights in front of a crowd at this point, but for a while he had an apex streak. Frivola has a lot of crowd fights. He was on the McGregor Fight Island card and stuff. I feel like another one of our guys was on like an apex streak for a while, and they were trying to
Strickland was for a while.
True.
For like pretty much just recently.
The one that broke that for him was the Poetan fight, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yep.
But then he kind of went back to the apex for a few after that too.
Cannonier.
He won the main event.
Imavov. Not Imavov, right? Well, yeah, Imavov.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then so I mean, and when I think of Sean Strickland, I think of him in the apex.
He just had such a good run.
I sort of do. Yeah.
He had a great run in the apex.
He had that one where his first fight back, it was against some poor fighter that's just not Derek Milner, but it was like a very similar. Derek Milner is just, he was not meant for the modern UFC, just like got ran through him. And Strickland's just in there, just yelling at him. He's like, hit me, come on, hit me. It was his first fight back from his motorcycle accident. And it's crazy to think. I think in that fight, I want to look it up, but I think in that fight, he was like -150 against, I'm going to say the name of the fighter, and you're going to be like, oh my God.
Hold on, is it the dude, it's like Allen, fuck. I can like picture him. I like know who you're talking about.
Oh, I'm talking about who actually, he was not as he was he closed a much bigger favorite. But it was Jack Marshman.
Marshman.
Oh, Marshman.
And I think that was Jack Marshman's last fight in the UFC. Yep. And Jack Marshman. But yes, he closed minus 400, which like if you ran that back, Jack Marshman would be like minus like 2,500. But anyways, yeah, I'm thinking of some other Apex fighters, but it's good for Jonathan Martinez being in front of a crowd. First crowd to be in front of is tough. The Brazil, but I'll be honest. Before we get to this crowd, the Brazil crowd needs to show up. Like, yeah, all we heard about for so long, Brazil, Brazil, Brazil. Then they go back and they just laid an egg.
They were quiet last time. It was weird. Even like people I was talking to involved in like production and stuff were like, yeah, it was strange. Like they noticed it in the arena. It wasn't just on the broadcast. So yeah, they got to step it up. Hopefully they heard people talking shit and they're going to come, over the top with the loudest crowds we've ever heard.
And they gotta show up for the King of Rio.
Yeah, they'll go crazy for Jose. Crazy. Yeah. Before we get into the card, DraftKings, UFC 301 this Saturday in Rio. Could it get any better? It sure can when you get in on the action over at the DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC. It's a banger of a card, flyweight title on the line in the main event. And obviously, we are going to be betting the card up and down. We'll go through our picks, and we'll give you all of our picks on the lines and stuff in a minute here. If you're new to DraftKings, check this out. New customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. It is a no-brainer to get in on this. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the code BACKFIST, all caps, BACKFIST, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Oh, and check this out. It says, may the 4th be with you on Fight Night at DraftKings. The crown is yours. Talk about a perfect ad read for me. The UFC, DraftKings, may the 4th be with you. I'm going to live it up on Saturday night. I can't wait.
And on Saturday night, there's the Canelo fight as well. Large is out there. Large got the tattoo, the Canelo tattoo.
Large got a real Canelo tat, yeah.
So there's plenty of options on Saturday night. Obviously, NBA, NHL playoffs. There's a lot coming up too. Baseball season's here. It's phenomenal. Yep. Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. Go New York, go New York, go.
Oh, I watched a video on that guy today. It's going around, the guy that wrote the Go New York, Go song.
Oh, I didn't. I'll have to watch that. It's one of the greatest team songs ever.
And he's just like, he looks like an older version of me. He's just a nerdy, skinny white dude. He's like, yeah, I just got the idea for it, went to the Knicks. I was like, let me play the song. And they were like, what? And he's like, I told him it wouldn't cost a lot. And I went and recorded it. He said he recorded it in like a closet.
Oh, and also in some other news, this is more personal for Bob, but there's kind of a studio being made for Pop Punk in the office. It's
we took over studio. Erica's old office, which is funny. Like taking over the CEO's office for something as stupid as Pop Punk. But we are. And yeah, we put up some soundproofing. We put up some Pop Punk posters, and we've already recorded like something for the dozen. We're recording an original now. We're working on another one. So yeah, we got a studio. If anyone wants to make music, we're recording now. We're in business.
That is what we like to see. I'm trying to think of is there any MMA musicians? I mean, Aljo released the rap song.
Thug Nasty, bro.
I was going to say a couple MMA rappers. We've got Thug Nasty, Brian Boom Boom Kelleher.
Yes.
Tyron Woodley, retired, but
yep.
I'll beat your ass.
I'm trying to
Classic
think of
song.
Aljo had his own.
I know there's players. I think Semi the Jedi plays something, to be honest. Maybe guitar or something. Brendan Fitzgerald plays piano. We could start a little MMA band.
Any MMA stars that are
I could see like Peyton Talbot being like the lead singer.
Oh, I could totally see that. Yeah, some like moody shit. Yeah.
Punk. Just with that black
sad boy
up there on stage with some like tight skinny jeans and his shirt off and just that black hole in his chest.
Yeah. Tyson Fury always singing in the boxing ring, Rand says. Good point. Hot Billy says Tim Sylvia plays the saxophone.
Yeah,
think that's
I believe that. I actually heard that too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did. All right, let's get into this card. Good card out of Brazil. We'll get into it here. Okay, as Ev mentioned, the night kicks off with Borjas versus Costa. I'll pull up the DraftKings odds while we're talking about this. But Ev, you said you're very excited for the kickoff of the night here.
I am. I really Boras I think is legitimately good, but I really like Costa. Costa I think is I think he's going to be like a ranked flyweight sooner rather than later. I mean, it's crazy to think he was in a spot. Me and Jack were talking about this at our desk the other day. Like, I thought when I say should have beat Urseg, not should have, like, he didn't deserve it, but he could have won that fight. I thought he made some mental errors where he should have won the fight if he went a different route. But he was in a very close fight with a guy who's main eventing and fighting for the belt in the same card. Like, I think Costa's legit. I think minus 130 is just a good price. Me and Jack were talking as well. He was a bigger favorite. It came down, which is kind of shocking to me. I don't really understand it, but I think Costa's legitimately very good, really good striker. Boras is tough, but I think he get him knock him out. But I'm going to bet him just on the money line. I like Alexander Costa a lot. He's a Diego Lopez guy as well.
Oh, I like that a lot. I didn't realize that.
They're all kind of like Brazilian, like Brazilian and Mexican. They kind of rep both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took Costa earlier in the week. I think it was up at minus 142. He's down to minus 130. I still like it. Borjas. Yeah, these are two. Borjas really fell off a cliff against. Joshua Van's very good, so you can't really take it or hold it too much against him. But I wasn't too impressed with him there, and I think Costa, specifically against Urseg, impressed me, like I've said. So I'll be on Costa, and also. Just breaking news: Floyd Mayweather was at the Clippers game last night.
Oh, what? He ain't in Dubai, folks.
There we go.
Floyd Mayweather gives $30K to group of homeless men before Clippers game. Exclusive TMZ.
He's free. Floyd is free.
So
before we move on, I did just want to shout out Chatbot Jerry for bringing this up. Something we probably should have covered. Mike Perry. Another first-round knockout in bare knuckle. They had Knuckle Mania. They also announced that Conor McGregor is a part owner of bare knuckle boxing. So congratulations to McGregor. I thought he already was. When he made the deal with Proper 12, I kind of just figured in my head, oh, they must have given him some equity, and he's doing the Proper 12, the Forged Irish Stout. He's one of their biggest sponsors at this point. But I guess they made the deal more recently than that. And I think it's David Feldman is the president of Bare Knuckle said, yes, he's a minority owner, but he's going to have a lot of say. He's like, it just makes, it's a no-brainer. It makes sense to give him a lot of say. So, yeah, you'll be seeing a lot more McGregor around Bare Knuckle, it seems. And congrats to Mike Perry. He's their superstar.
Yeah, McGregor's he's the best promoter in combat sports history. That's a no-brainer. Like getting him in on it, just no-brainer. I'm sure it's gonna. It feels like it's been doing well. I'm curious to see I'd be curious to hear kind of what their pay-per-view numbers are and
because they're paying fighters a lot.
That's what I'm saying. Like they do. They're top-tier fighters are doing well. The guys top hard. They're all
Perry getting 750,000 or something.
I think Perry it said 600. What they said was
600.
So that's pretty fucking good. He definitely make more than he's making in the UFC.
Yeah,
and I know he had said the contract he had signed. Perry said, "Well, it would make him a millionaire."
Who did he fight this time? I didn't even see anything about who he fought.
Thiago Alves. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah. That's
what they're trying to make this Darren Till fight, which I would more than.
I've been seeing that. Yeah, I saw him on the podcast with Mac Malley and stuff, and they were going back and forth. Mike Perry was accusing him of training with people on steroids, being on steroids. Darren Till was like, he's like, you can't get it. Not like America.
It's like Ryan Garcia. He's like, I've never even seen steroids. I don't even know where to get them.
Yeah, exactly. Back to 301 though. Oh, go ahead, Jack. Sorry.
I was going to say that was such a great point from Garcia when he said, I don't even know where to get steroids. That's also, it was kind of plausible deniability because Ostrin's not a steroid. So you like it, but maybe I heard that. I was like, yeah, he does know where to get steroids. And then they're like, but you took Ostrin. Don't know where to get steroids, bro. I don't know where to get them.
Anabolic steroids, never heard of them.
The next fight on 301 is going to be a Bonfim murder. Bonfim versus Pichel, and Bonfim's like minus 500. He's minus 520 against Pichel, plus 390.
So Bonfim like should roll here in terms of like his speed's better, he's faster. But Vince Pichel's like could he be like the crafty vet, get some takedowns maybe in the Bonfim is more of a striker than he is a jiu-jitsu artist. Maybe Pichel gets the back at one point. You never know. I'm not taking Bonfim at this price. So he is. I mean, Vince Pichel to win by submission, 30-1 sounds like it could be like a little bit of a stab, but Bonfim should roll.
Tim Means might have killed crafty vets for me last week. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'll be honest though.
I'll
be honest though. That fight kept going. You never know. Uros looked like he was kind of slowing down, and then he found he did find that knockout. But in a different universe, we may have found a Tim Means finish late in that fight.
Variations. There's variations. many variations to a fight. Jag was almost kind of not that had no plans to take a bomb or anything, but Jag was kind of, we were talking about this earlier in the week too. Slowly they kind of like talking me into Pichel. He is old, man. He's 41. He hasn't fought in almost like 2 years, like over a year and a half. And he lost to Mark Madsen, who also was kind of like an older guy. Yeah, I would never lay this price on Bonfim against, like, it would have to be like a legit truck driver for me to lay 500 with him. Not that he's like not. I mean, I just don't think he's as elite as people were thinking he was. I said this Jack too. I mean, remember he was minus like 400 against BSD. How crazy to think back on that.
Really,
every loss
minus 400 against BSD.
Every loss that Bonfim has had is via submission. In his entire career. Now, the flip side to that is Vince Pichel's never won via submission. So, but we may have to look at Pichel 30-1 by sub as maybe you never know. Maybe find something, gets a takedown. And then also Bonfim, this guy, is he taking this sport seriously? He loses the BSD, which is whatever, but he comes into this fight recently against Pichel, and he was way overweight, like 3 or 4 pounds. I would like to see him on the scales too. Maybe it was something, but that's like really unacceptable, specifically for a male fighter. I know sometimes female fighters will have different situations, but male fighter, that's almost like, are you a professional or not? Or Ryan Garcia completely different. I mean, he's brilliant. He's a genius. He had a plan.
What do we got next? Oh, we got the double debut next. Double contender series debuts up next. Dione Barbosa versus Ernesta Carequiat. Don't know much about either of these girls. I know Barbosa won her contender series fight via armbar, I think, in the first round, and the other girl won via split decision. Barbosa is a huge favorite here. She is minus 238.
Yeah. I look at this as a situation that I hate. It's a contender series chalk, women's MMA, Dione Barbosa. But Ernesta is coming over from Europe, and that's not. I would love to know when she got to Brazil, because that's a tough flight. She's coming all the way from Lithuania. That's a far flight, and she's coming off a victory on the contender series where it was a split, wasn't very impressive. Then you have Dione Barbosa. Also, I mean, she is what she is. She's not the most impressive fighter ever. She is Brazilian, though. It's going to be a really tough crowd for Ernesta. in my opinion, Dione really takes care of business. And I think I may have her in a parlay or two, or even take her by finish. I was going to, as Ev was going to talk about this, I was going to look at Ernesta's Instagram and see maybe, is she there yet? When's she getting to Brazil? She better be there now.
I would think she got to be
Probably.
there on Thursday. That'd be
Yeah,
crazy.
got to be there.
I would
She got
imagine
weigh-ins
she got
tomorrow.
there. I would think she had to get there by like Tuesday. I would think like
Yeah.
latest. Maybe even Sunday, Monday. Yeah, I kind of think the same as you, Jack. It's like kind of just Barbosa parlay piece, maybe like sub. I was looking at the sub line. The sub line is plus 225. Like sub or parlay piece. That was kind of what I was thinking as well. You made a good point. I just what her last name is crazy. Carcake.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
but however you say Ernesta, just some of those weird like. Just that far European, like low level, like women's MMA, like just not willing to back that.
Up next, we've got another Contender Series. I think a debut against Jamie Malarkey. Right? We haven't seen this guy Ruffy, Mauricio Ruffy versus Jamie Malarkey, and Malarkey in the fight is plus 170 actually against this guy Ruffy, minus 205. I was surprised to see that.
I'm super torn on this fight because there's this big part of me that wants to just take Malarkey as a dog, but then I feel like I'm gonna feel really good about this like 7 minutes in, and then I'm gonna feel really bad about it like 8 minutes in. Like he's gotten clipped a few times lately. I mean, but he is like more. He's just so much more. He is experienced. He really has fought like so many like good guys. And just like hanging in the UFC for as long as he has, like having some of the wins he has, like is like not easy to do. Like impressive, like solid UFC career. So I'm very torn. I think I'll get probably dog or pass. I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually like bet it, but
I might bet this one. I like Jamie Malarkey.
But yeah, I'll say for the sake of the show, like making a pick, I'm picking Malarkey.
Jack.
I'm with Ev. I'm a little bit torn because it's like, again, Malarkey's experience is great, and you look at him plus 170, you're like, could he just find a way to get this done? So I haven't watched enough of Mauricio Ruffy, so I'm kind of I just am passing on this at this time.
Like Ruffy's minus 110 by knockout.
That's crazy.
And no, but it's like weird because it is, but that's why I'm so torn because like it is, but at the same time, like I feel like if he wins, like that's how like if this goes to decision, it's because I think Malarkey like grinded it out.
Yeah, we just don't know this guy.
Yeah, that's it. I don't like that's like Lang minus 200 on like contenders like are just debut guys. I don't like against like a vet like Malarkey is like not like something I don't love doing that.
Yeah.
But it just like I said, it wouldn't shock me at all. Malarkey, like if he like has like looking good for a few minutes and then just boom, and just gets close. Like I was going to jump about it early in the week, like the Nemov fight. Nemov was like a very similar spot where he was a guy like took it on short notice, like and just Malarkey was winning for like 6-7 minutes, whatever it was, and then just boom, hit with a big shot, knocked out, and you're like, there it goes. So I'm very worried that that's going to happen here, but I think you'll make worse bets if you're a better like that just bets a lot. I think you'll make worse bets than Malarkey's 170.
I love the dichotomy of our chat as well here. Chatbot Jerry Malarkey ain't good. Very next comment. MPI taking Malarkey all day.
Yeah, no, I really don't know what to do with that bad boy. So I'm with maybe if he gets up to like 200, like that's just Malarkey still. It's a long trip for him, but Malarkey still, I mean, he's been in there with some much better fighters than his opponent. And that counts for something, but he could also die at any point. But 2-1, it may be worth a stab.
I'll say that for sure. If he got to 200, I would play it 100%.
And then we've got to cap off the early prelims. Joaquim Silva versus Drakkar Klose. Klose minus 180, Silva plus 150. I kind of wish those odds were flipped because I like Klose a lot in it. insane line, MPI says. Maybe about this one or maybe about the Malarkey one. Because he's taking Malarkey all day. So how do we feel about this one, Ev?
I like Close. I know Jack Mank said he already played it. He tweeted it. Yeah, I like Close. I mean, Close is really good, man. I mean, he really like the loss he had in the UFC. I think he's really is it Dariush and who else? Is he also anyone else in the UFC? Am I forgetting anyone? I mean, I know he had the head. He
might have
knockout.
One more.
He had the head slam knockout his last fight. I mean, he's
David
legit.
Tamer way long ago, 2017.
Oh, yeah, like Close is pretty legit. Like I think he's like one of those like in that like 15 to like 25 potentially kind of range in lightweight, which is like very hard to do. Like probably one like that or bantamweight, probably the deepest. So I would bet him here and I would lay the price. Joaquin Silva is like he is pretty good. I mean I mentioned it in kind of the beginning. Like he had like a legit like very like competitive fight with Armin, which is aged like incredibly well. He hurt him at one point, so he's dangerous, and that's what would give me like those little pause, like, if any. But I like Close.
And Jack, you played Close earlier.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna truly find a way to. He's just a grinder. I mean, he's an American grinder, North fighter in terms of I think he's from Michigan. He's a wrestler. He's gonna get him up against the cage. He has great cardio. I think he can take him down. I don't think his striking's that bad either. He finds ways to win. I could see him winning by decision or even by a ground and pound finish or even possibly a submission. So I really do like Drakkar, and I think I laid him at minus 185. He's minus 180 now, so I would continue to bet it there. So I like him, and the line's been kind of all over the place this week. It got down to as little as minus 150, but it's back up to minus 180. And I like it. I think his finish equity is also pretty good. So I like him all over the place. And I would say he should be up in that minus 225 range. So that's why I like him.
I like this word from Brazil. Ruffy's a fight nerd. Gene Silva, Barallo is a very good fighter from what I heard in Brazil. So a little inside info there from our pal Fabio in the chat. Moving on with the 301 card on to the normal prelims. You've got Gene Silva versus William Gomez. Almost a pick 'em. Silva minus 120, Gomez plus 100. Another one, Ev, you were saying before you like this fight, right?
I like the fight. I know Jack Mank is a play on it. I've seen people kind of on both sides. I think I'm like very kind of like on the fence on it. I just think it's just like basically like big power puncher versus like guy that wants to stay on the outside and just point you to death. So I mean, it's obviously just gonna be who's able to like control the distance. So I'm like, I'm really like genuinely like I think it's like a coin flip. Like it's just what like that's why I guess I'll for the sake of the show I'll say Gomez because it's like you're getting the plus money. But I'm like not opinionated really on it at all. I could totally see it just going either way. It's really like I said, is Silva able to get inside and land a big shot, or if Gomez can just keep the distance, he's gonna win.
What was your play, Jack?
I took Silva. I just am not thrilled with Gomez, however you say it, the French. He's a French fighter. I'm not thrilled with his output, even his output against Francis Marshall. I mean, Gomez won the fight because he was kicking air like really fast. I guess he could find a knockout. I've kind of got reversed on this. I took him at minus 142. He's down to minus 120. I would still take him. I'm not the biggest fan of, and I've seen some guys that I respect that they're on Gomez, and that's why the line has flipped the way it has. So, I mean, it is what it is, but I just look at this and think he takes control. He's the better fighter. I was just looking at, I remember thinking something. I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah, he's low volume. I just don't like betting on low volume, rangy kickboxers. I think Silva could even knock him out, to be completely honest. So I guess we'll roll with that. And I think Silva's cardio in his Contender Series fight was pretty good. And we'll just roll from there. I think it's a good bet. I took it up at -142, so it is what it is. But I would still bet. I would still suggest it if you're looking for a fight or play on this fight. I would still take Silva. But there have been some people out there that I respect that have taken the other side and kind of flipped the line.
One that is going to be a banger for sure. Elvis Brenner versus Oralby. Oralby is like -250 here, or -250. Brenner +205. I do think that's probably right. I feel like honestly, I might even bet Oralby -250 because I really, really think he's winning this fight. Maybe I'm a fool for that, but I'm excited to see this fight because, like I've said, I think it's going to be fireworks from the jump, from the get-go.
So earlier in the week, I was like, wait, that may be a bit wide. But I think I'm just all in on Miktabek. Because Brenner's win equity is all finish, at least in my opinion. And I think Miktabek, I mean, he's the guy like you would have to kill him to finish. He's this man fought in a war in the 2nd century, and then they were like, oh my God, you are amazing. We're gonna freeze you. And then Dana White got the keys to him, and he's back. And Miktabek, and I've ever since I made the TikTok that went a little bit viral, and people from his country were reaching out to me saying you must apologize and whatnot, I've decided Miktabek is my guy. I bet him big first fight, and I'm betting him big here too. I don't care about the -250. I think he takes care of business, and I can't wait to see Miktabek go on the run that he's going to go on. But this could be a great fight. I wanted to see what his decision only line was, which I think the good folks over at DraftKings decision only line Miktabek -360. Oh, okay. Finish only -2. Interesting. Yeah, so Miktabek all day.
Ever you is high on Miktabek?
I like him. I'm torn here just because I really like Brenner. I'm a fan of him. I like the way he fights. I want to push back slightly on the win equity on the he beat Tukagov by decision. Who's like not bad. I mean, he was solid. Like had a good record. Was in the UFC for a while. I just like listen. It's one of those like I'm probably gonna end up losing like betting with my heart on Brenner and seeing the +200. I mean, like just being like lines. But I mean, the other how do you say Miktabek. Some of these names on this card are crazy.
They're tough.
Miktabek,
Yeah.
Oralby.
Yeah.
He is very good. Like I do understand the hype. Like I think it's warranted. But Brenner's just got that dog. Like I'm just saying. Listen, if this fight's still going on in the 3rd round, Brenner's dangerous. I mean, we saw him do it to Kudaladzé, who's I think is like legit really good. Like he's like had a couple weird split decisions where like I think things could have went totally differently for him in like rankings and stuff like that. So I think Brenner's pretty legit. But I think that, but with that being said, this could be a chance where if Miktabek goes and like runs through him, I'll be like, holy fuck.
Yeah. I think he could, to be honest.
He could. He definitely could. I think Brenner's tough though. I think he's a tough out.
The next fight on this card. It's Karolina Kowalkiewicz +320 versus Yasmin Lucindo -410. One of those where I look at this and I'm just like, what are we doing matchmaking these two?
I think they're
you sending Karolina out to pasture? Is that what you're doing here?
I think so. I think that's Karolina's kind of been on this weird run where it's been pretty good for herself. Hasn't she won a bunch in a row?
She's won 4 in a row.
She won a bunch in a row, but they're like it's not against the best group of talent. No disrespect.
Yeah, Felice Herrig, didn't we see that? Or no.
It's Felice Herrig, Silvana Gomez Suarez, and then she beat Belbita in the last one. Yeah, she beat Vanessa Demopoulos.
So
not spectacular.
And Yasmin goes for the kill, so I guess
too.
Yeah, Yasmin's gonna. I think she's gonna finish her for sure.
Yeah, what's her finish? Yeah, I mean Yasmin by KO, so +330. Bob, if you want to see,
I would take that.
Yasmin by.
I'll be taking that on DraftKings because Karolina's tough. She is, but she's getting to a point in her career where she doesn't have many fights left. I don't know how tough she still is.
Yasmin by finish plus 165. So
I like that.
I like that a lot.
I think I'll take that instead of risk. I think I'd rather just play that because I mean, she really had a submission in her last fight.
Yeah.
But no, I like
Weird
that.
fight.
Also, just especially with like 22 versus a 38-year-old.
Yep.
Just, yeah, it's crazy. 22 with 20 professional fights.
That is nuts.
she may not be 22. Wink, wink.
Fair. Fair.
I like
No
this next fight as well.
No disrespect. I'm just saying.
No
like,
disrespect. No. To headline the prelims, we've got Jack Shore versus Joe Anderson Brito. Jack Shore plus 140, Joe Anderson Brito minus 166. Been on record before. I'm a big Jack Shore guy. He's a huge Oasis fan, so we've DM'd about Oasis in the past, and he's come on My Mom's Basement a couple years ago and stuff. So I got to be in the corner of Jack Shore here, especially if I could get him plus 140 as an underdog.
It's an interesting fight. I kind of look at it and think, oh, Joe Anderson Brito should take care of business, but the line's just stuck where it is. I thought it would kind of go up a little bit more, but Brito, could he find a knockout? He's bigger, and Jack Shore's coming up in weight, right? He was at one. This is second.
His last.
He's been, yeah, yes.
And I kind of thought even at like 135, he kind of like he was kind of when he went up against Amir Khani, and he kind of looked like pudgy. It didn't really look like he went up in a way that was like, oh man, he filled out really well, a little bit pudgy, and then that gives me the sense that he could be going down to 135, but he's not. And Brito's just, I feel like, going to be bigger than him in there and should dominate that way. But yeah,
he is really good. The chat's pointing out that Brito was the one that to beat Diego Lopez on the Contender Series.
He was. That's true.
Yeah, and what's Shore's win equity like? What's he do? He
submission.
Yeah.
Possible, but I mean,
yeah.
Brito's very good on the ground, but I think Shore's better. Could be wrong about that. I don't know.
Sure. Brito has won fights via submission, but I mean,
he subbed Jonathan Pierce in his last fight.
Yes.
I like Brito a lot here. The more I've thought about, like, as the week's gone on, I've got more, like, I think I might be on Brito, like, money line, like, inside the distance.
Wow.
Plus 120, like, knockout. Like, I think he knocks him out. That's what I really think happens. Because I was gonna say the same. I remember when him and Ricky Simone fought, like, Ricky Simone hurt him badly.
That's who it was. I was gonna say who was the one to rock Jack Shore. I think it was Simone.
And like Ricky Simone's good and does like hit hard.
Yeah.
But he's the guy, like, his knockouts at bantamweight, I'm pretty sure, like, pretty much, like, he hurt him. I don't even think he ended up submitting him, I think. But then, like, he knocked out like a Sansao who's, like, really old. Yes, I mean, I think Brito's is, like, too big, too powerful. I agree with Jack Mack too. Like, at 145, like, he didn't look like he was, like, he wasn't all of a sudden, like, he didn't look like Holloway moving up where he's all of a sudden he looks like big and, like, strong.
He was
like,
pudgy.
Yeah, he just looked like he just gained like 10 pounds.
Yeah, and
like he just like put on 10 pounds of just like normal, just like whatever weight. He didn't look like he got like, which maybe it's different. He hasn't fought in a while, so maybe this time he looks
maybe
like
he's filled out.
Different. Yeah, so I'll be curious to see that. But especially if he looks even like remote. I mean, even at 135, he never was some like ripped up. Like, I just don't think that's his body type. But yeah, I like Brito pretty good. Brito like might be one of my favorite bets on the card.
And Jack Shore. No photos recently on his Instagram without any shirt, with his shirt off. You know, like all I'm saying is, like, it's just like these are things you got to take in.
And Brito's a fucking tank.
I think Brito's just so much bigger than him. Like, it's just like that's why I like how does Jack Shore win? I mean, I guess he takes him down and finishes him via submission, but I'm in on Brito too. I think I'm gonna place a bet after this show because the line's staying, and that gives me a little bit of pause. I thought it would go up a little bit, and I thought if it went up to like minus 170, minus 175, I would take a stab, which sounds really dumb by saying that, but it staying where it is kind of interesting to me.
Now on to the main card. The first 3 fights of the main card, crazy wide lines, like almost boxing wide. The first of which being Paul Craig versus Cal Barao. Paul Craig plus 470, Barao minus 650. This is the kind of thing where, like, I've bet on Paul Craig via submission 100 times in my life, just thinking like maybe he'll throw something up at the end and, you know, do the Paul Craig things, but just can't do it here. Like, can you even? Is there any play on this fight that you feel comfortable with?
No, because like, what would it even look like? I don't know. It's so wide. It's almost like, do you take Paul Craig?
I don't think. I think fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times, fool me 4 times.
I'm the biggest Paul Craig hater in the history of, like, not him as a person, but him as a, like, he's just, I've had so many bets against him where he wins. I'm just like, that's not real. That shouldn't have happened. And I hate him, but I don't think I can bet him here.
Yeah, actually, I remember I bet him against Jamal Hill, actually, weirdly enough, as much of a Hill guy I am. I remember I did do that. And I was against him, Ozdemir. So I like, which that was truly the fight where I was like, that Paul Craig just laid, like, he literally pulled like a Crone Gracie in that fight.
Yeah, he did.
And Ozdemir, and that was when it was during the day. It was on like a London card. And even having Ozdemir and like loving it, because I'm like, he's just losing. Like he's just accepting losing. But it just, I just don't. I agree with Jack. Like I don't see like his path other than like pulling some crazy like submission, kind of like, which is like what he does, like out of his ass. But I think Baralo's is like, it's weird because I almost, even though Paul Craig has come down in weight, I feel like Baralo is bigger. I think there's a good chance he'll be like stronger, and I think he clears here. I wouldn't be shocked if he made it look easy. I mean, the line's obviously saying that, but I get, like, if he just finished him inside like 2 rounds, that wouldn't shock me. But I also like don't really want to take Baralo minus 125 like inside the distance. I don't like feel great about that bet either. This is probably the fight that I hate the most, like betting wise. I don't. There's nothing that I see that I'm like, oh, like that's enticing.
Maybe the next one too is like
by sub, like maybe it's plus 225. But then like I could see like a ground and pound like that. The knockouts plus 25. I don't know. I think Baralo wins pretty easily, but
the next fight is like basically the same thing. Michel Pereira is minus 625 against Ihor Peteria, plus 455. It's like, what do you do with that? Like, obviously, we all think Pereira's going to win that fight. I don't know what you do with it from a betting perspective.
Like, I really think
what's him to finish?
Minus like 280. I looked at before.
Yeah, it's like
some like he round 1, he's plus 120. I mean, I think he just like absolutely smokes him,
mauls him.
Like, and we've seen it's crazy because what he's done at like since he moved to middleweight, he's been just running through people, like just smashing them quick. I think Pretoria is bad. I mean, his only win in the UFC is literally over like the fossil of Shogun. I mean, me and Jack were talking about this earlier this week too. He was actually crazy enough. He was like winning the fight against Rodolfo Bellato, and then one of the all-time bag fumbles. And I don't think Bellato is good either. Like I think it was just 2 guys that aren't good, just beating each other up till the one died. I think perhaps like smokes him. Even like if you want to take round 1, sure. I mean, even knockout, like he's minus like.
He's like minus 150, right?
Minus 150. I don't even think that's like hard. Like it's crazy thing out that's not horrible, but I don't know. I can't. Parlay piece. Maybe him inside the distance parlay piece is what I would say. Even though it's minus 280, I just think he just waxes him. Just totally waxes him.
If anything, I think like Michel Pereira by decision 4-1, maybe. Like maybe like somehow they survive. He
Maybe,
survived,
yeah.
but I feel like there's just nothing here. I can't really even. We've seen Michelle Pereira is just so much better. We've seen Ihor die. Also, it would just feel almost right in the sense of karma for him to dance over the grave of a legend and then get killed in the same arena like 2 years later. So I probably won't bet this and just be like, oh, maybe Ihor puts together a legendary win, or maybe Ihor dies. I'll probably. He's not beloved by UFC fans. It's just the only thing is, so like, how does Pereira win? Right? He takes him down.
Or
Knocks him
knocks
out.
him out, I think, too. I think either or.
Yeah.
I think he could do both.
Yeah, it's just. I guess I look at Ihor like he is also a kickboxer. Maybe Ihor gets beat up, but he survives for 15 minutes, and then you like the 4-1 decision. I guess I'm kind of thinking there, but
I mean, Neger Monterrey was beating the brakes off him on the feet.
yeah.
Like, who's like not a striker. Like standing TKO'd him of just I just don't see it. I just don't see how he wins the fight other than Pereira slipping on a banana peel. I just don't see it. I think
I feel like
he's the last minute guy. Like this was supposed to be Muradov.
yeah.
That was supposed to be the fight. Like he took this fight on like I don't think it was crazy late, maybe like a month, a little bit less, something like that. Maybe it was a little more on it. It's a month, give or take. But yeah, I mean, I just don't know how. I don't know what he does to win.
That's sort of how I feel about Anthony Smith in the next fight. Hate to say it. He was a great guy when he came into the office and we hung out with him. We were drinking with him. It was great. But he's plus 470 or plus 425 against Vitor Petrino, minus 575. 3 fights in a row where it's like, oh my God, we might watch 3 murders in a row. This could be Anthony Smith's last fight, too. I read an interview with him and his coach. They're taking everything one step at a time. They're not really thinking about that yet. But the coach was very outspoken after like 2 losses ago of like, dude, you're done. Please retire. And he's back with Anthony Smith this time. But, you know, with that back and forth, you never like to hear that from a possibly about to retire fighter and his coach.
Yeah, maybe. Is it crazy? Like over 2.5 plus 150. I like Anthony Smith's like he's tough. And Vitor.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it's just recency bias for me because of Vitor's last fight, and I had him inside the distance, and if I recall correctly, he won by decision. Yeah, against Tyson Pedro. I'm just like, come on, dude. Like, can you do something, please? And some of his, but if you really like Vitor Petrino, I mean, he's in the UFC. He hasn't won. His wins are round 2 against Bellato on Contender Series, unanimous against Anton Turco, the Pleasure Man, round 3 against Crackneau, round 2 against Modestus, and then unanimous. I mean, so I kind of look at the over and say like, maybe there is something there. Over 1.5 minus 200, but maybe fight starts round 2 or round 3. I mean, is what I'm almost looking at there, trying to attack this fight from a total perspective. Because Anthony Smith, he's tough. I mean, Ryan Spann almost had him dead in his last fight, and he continued on. But if Ryan Spann almost had you dead, it's looking back on what we saw this past week. It's not going to look. Maybe even Vitor by decision is a decent look. But I also think Vitor is looking at this fight and being like, this is a big moment for me. Maybe I like the UFC setting me up to get like going for that kill shot.
Yeah, it's just very. I was saying to Jack earlier in the week how I like really loved Petrino inside the distance, and there's definitely part of me that has like the more I've thought about it, like has had some pauses, like some of the things he said, like obviously Anthony Smith is tough. I thought about like Spann had him hurt obviously really bad, didn't end up finishing him. Smith ended up eking out a decision. But I also it's the thought process of does he want to like make the statement? Because if you go like knock out Anthony Smith inside like 2 rounds, especially the streak he's on where like he's undefeated. I'm pretty sure undefeated. I know he's undefeated in the UFC. He's undefeated, right? Is he like 14-0?
Yeah, he is 11-0.
Or
11-0.
So like he's undefeated. I mean, you go like knock out Anthony Smith here, like you might get like a title eliminator potentially if you do it in like the right fashion, or if not, you're one away from one.
Yeah,
100%. So I mean, I was thinking like plus 100 by knockout. I think he hits hard. Like it's just whether he's gonna like I don't like. Do you guys, when you look at this fight, do you see him like trying to like get takedowns, or do you see him looking to trade with Anthony Smith?
No, I think he's gonna trade.
But Anthony Smith still hits hard, dude. Like
he does. He's long. He got long arms. Like,
and Anthony, I mean, he loves the game. He's a student of the game. We know he'll fight in a relatively smart way. That's why I kind of look at a decision and like, will Anthony Smith even let him like really trade in the pocket with him? Or maybe Anthony's like, hey, I'm going out on my sword. This is what I think Anthony wants to do. I think Anthony thinks he can win this fight in Brazil, call out Poton, and that's going to be that's not going to happen. But I think that's what he thinks. Like he's like his mind right now. Is like, I win, I call out Poton, and then I beat Poton. I'm the champ. That's what his mind thinks.
Yeah, he wants that title. Then the co-main event, the King of Rio returns. Jose Aldo. He was supposed to face Dominic Cruz, but I think Dominic Cruz got an injury at some point when they were putting the fight together. He will now meet Jonathan Martinez. It is the co-main event of this card. It's going back and forth on this one. Like, part of me just wants to bet Jose Aldo for the sake of betting Jose Aldo in Rio, the return fight, whatever. But I think like ring rust is a real thing. And him coming back, I don't know. I don't feel great about it against like a young guy like Jonathan Martinez. Martinez is minus 150, about minus 148 on DraftKings. Jose plus 124. I think I'm going to flip. I think I'm going to bet Jonathan Martinez money line in this fight.
Aldo all day. Aldo all day. Also, ring rust is real, but I mean, he has been competing. Last time we saw him was August 2022 against Merab, which, like, let's be real, losing against Merab is not the end of the world. That's not what Jonathan Martinez is going to do to you. Before that, wins against Rob Font, Pedro Munez, Marlon Vera. Obviously, he had the Jan fight, but he was doing well. He had 2 boxing matches in Brazil, and he won both of them. That doesn't really mean anything to me.
He beat Jeremy Stevens in boxing, too.
That's right. Yeah.
And no, they said that was a draw decision.
Oh, was it a draw?
Yeah, oh, really? For the Game Bread, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I thought he beat him.
All right. And then Jonathan Martinez, he's the younger fighter. He's 30. But like listen to his run right now. Okay. He beat Alejandro Perez. Alejandro Perez dropped him in that fight. Vince Morales, Cub Swanson, Said Nurmagomedov is his best win. However, a lot of people feel like Said won that fight. Adrian Yanez, he won with leg kicks. Jose Aldo's very hard to leg kick. He's that is like almost phenomenal at defending leg kicks. Now, I'm not saying that Jonathan Martinez can't get the leg kicks going, but let's say he doesn't, then it's just on the feet. I think Aldo is just as good of a striker, if not better. Yeah. And hometown narrative. I think this fight should be evenly lined at or even slight Aldo. So I really like Aldo, and I think he wins via decision or even finds a finish late in the second or third. And I think the crowd being on his side and whatnot, I really, really like Aldo here. And I almost am a little bit taken back by how much I like him.
Yeah, I like Aldo too. I think I'm going to bet Aldo. I don't know if Jackson too. Even like kind of like the little before, even then like he beat like Alejandro Perez, like Morales, Cub Swanson. Like literally in 2021, he got knocked out by Davy Grant.
Yeah, like what?
I'm not saying that's like, listen, that doesn't say like you're fucking like you're bad or anything. Or I'm just saying like going off with Jackson too, like the levels of wins Aldo has had, even like in the time span where Martinez was doing it, are so significantly better than like any wins that that Martinez has. So like you're just going. Obviously, the layoff is concerning. The age is a little.
That's what concerns me the most is the layoff.
But even but I feel like but even just he's been training, like, you know, like I said, he's done 3 boxing fights since his last UFC fight. Like, he's been in the gym, and even already seen him like with taking the promo pictures and stuff. He looks good, man. He looks good. Like he's clearly in shape. He's clearly hasn't left the gym at all since he retired. Yeah, I think plus money is. I think like any plus money on Aldo, you're getting I'm take that. I'm hoping the line goes up. It's plus 124 right now. I'd love to get over like 130 because I think that line was available earlier in the week. Like I think like 136 even was available. But yeah, anything like plus money on Aldo.
Fuck you, MPI.
That's
crazy. Fuck you, MPI.
So they're showing Aldo highlights from when Fighter Trunks had advertised.
That's like I saw a Cowboys account this week talking about they signed Ezekiel Elliott, and somebody quote tweeted it, and it was like, I just saw Ryan Shazier in one of these highlights, and obviously I shout out Ryan Shazier and whatnot, but he had the unfortunate career-ending injury, and he's been great since then, but he hasn't been able to play football. But that's one of those where it's like, I see Ed Reed in these highlights. It's like, come on, dude, like it's not recent, but I still like Aldo. I like him here. And MPI and Robbie are together. It's MPI and Robbie against
MPI and me.
Yeah, against Ev and Jack. I like that. That's inside the elimination chamber.
Then the main event, finally, the Astro Boy is getting a title shot. The Astro Boy Steve Erceg versus Alexandra Pantoja. Pantoja, the champ, minus 180. Erceg plus 150. Maybe closer odds than I thought they were going to be coming into this. Just like when Erceg gets the shot against Pantoja, immediately everyone's kind of like, whoa, like he's a good fighter, but oh my God, he got a title shot immediately. And it makes sense with the Brazil thing and everything. I am definitely on Pantoja, but does this line make you want to take Erceg at all? Like seeing him plus 150, like, I don't know.
So I took Erceg plus 200 earlier in the week.
Oh.
And so I got a nice line reversed from I took Gene Silva minus 142 and Arizona minus 120. So sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. And also doesn't really matter as long as you win. Obviously, you want to beat the market, quote unquote. But I was surprised. I thought Erceg was going to be in that plus 185, plus 175 range the whole week. I was like, plus 200, I'll take it. I think I took it on Sunday or Monday. I think Erceg, if he can, his win equity in my mind is his cardio withstands. He can steal a few rounds with his striking and take down defense. That being said, Pantoja could just run through him and be like, I'm the ultimate alpha Chad. Like, Erceg, go back down. Like, fuck you, dad. Like, look at all, like, the entire country loves me. And I really like Pantoja. He's awesome. One of my favorite bets ever was him against
Moreno.
I mean, all time, like one of the best fights of last year too. But I don't. Erceg plus 150 doesn't get me going as much because I only put one unit on him plus 200. It wasn't like, oh my God, look at this astronomical edge. I think I would have lined it around this minus 175 plus 150 range.
Yeah, I remember. Like the plus 200, I thought was interesting. I thought this fight is one of those fights where I feel like, one, Vegas, as you said, Vegas is giving Erceg respect, and I understand it because he is really big, and he's well rounded. Like you said, like he is good striking, like good grappling. He does a lot of things well. It's just such like a level of experience difference is the thing, and just strength of competition. I think it's one of those fights when I break it down, I see I think Erceg will do better than people probably just knee jerk anticipated that he would do. So I think like a lot of people knee jerk would like see this fight on paper. Like your first thought would be like, oh, Pantoja's gonna just run through him, and I don't think that's gonna be the case. But I do think Pantoja's gonna win. So that's where I think like there's like, I don't know if I'll even bet Pantoja, but like Jack said it too. Like at plus 200, I think even like Usyk would have been like much more enticing. 150 is not like, doesn't do it for me because I think Pantoja probably does win. But if you're going to give me like 2-1 the other way, I would have highly considered it. So Jack obviously got a great line. It's went down so much, but I do think Pantoja wins. But I think it's a close fight. I think like Usyk has the tools to like make chaos happen. But I also think Pantoja just like when Pantoja activates zombie mode, which I think he will. There's a chance he will do at some point in this fight because I do think he will get hit. Like I think he will. Like he gets hit. I think he will get hit at some point. But he also hits pretty hard himself.
Yeah.
And I do. And we haven't really seen Astro Boy get hit like that. In MPI, I agree with like him getting this title shot off, like knocking out Matt Schnell is pretty wild. I think they kind of just wanted Pantoja on this card, and there just wasn't really anyone available that would have made like proper sense.
Yeah. So
I think they kind of just went with Usyk. Like he's got hype. He just had a big highlight reel knockout recently, and fuck it. I mean the odds are it's lined the way it is. So clearly people, the bettors think that he has a good shot in there.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be interesting. I wonder where this line will close. Like when bigger money comes in, when they open up the limits a little bit more, and see like maybe people are waiting to get the best line they can on Pantoja, and then it'll go up a little bit more. So you never know. It's tough to like. I always suggest if you like a guy, bet him. Like don't try to time the market. You can sometimes get you can lose a line or whatnot. But I think we are going to get on DraftKings a parlay. You want to
spinning back fist parlay? You
guys want to come up with it now?
Yeah.
So remember, it kind of stinks but we want it to be like a little bit.
We want fights towards the end of the card, I think.
Yeah, because it like people we noticed that the last time.
Yeah.
Just so we can boost our numbers.
Exactly.
What if we
cut off early in the night?
What if we did this? Rob, would you be opposed to putting Burrito in it? Are you adamantly against?
No. 2-1. I think you guys should get the vote on that.
All right, Burrito.
Because I feel like starting with like the featured prelim is like a good starting point of like later in the card, and also I think there's some good fights after that we can work with.
Agreed.
Do we want to go with like the just chalky like Pereira Petrino? Like, do we want to add just like two like?
I would feel okay adding them because I think they're 100% going to win. So I feel like they might just help the odds.
Yeah, who cares? Like, I mean, like people, who cares? Like, we're not trying to like come up with a sharp parlay for the people. Like, I mean, that's not like
we used to call it the chalk parlay.
So if we did, so how about this? I know Bob is on the other side of this last one too, but if we did Brito, Pereira, Petrino, and Aldo.
But I'm cool putting Aldo in there because people want to get Aldo. People love Aldo.
That's Brazil, and we could call it like they could call it like Brazilian parlay. It's
King of Rio parlay.
That's plus 388. Those 4 legs is plus.
I think that's pretty good.
Also, this is my first. I'll let everybody know. I'll tweet it out. This is gonna be my first weekend playing daily fantasy. UFC. I'm gonna give it a try. I think it's something that's also kind of fun. I don't know what it's gonna look like in my lineup. I know Lee sometimes does. It was just something I was like, I want to try.
My cousins do that. Yeah, my cousins doesn't really watch UFC. He's pretty good at it.
That's what I'm here in North Dakota for. DraftKings Pick 6. They have UFC.
Yeah,
DraftKings Pick 6. Yeah, so like, guys, if it's all in the same app too, a daily fantasy draft, like it's phenomenal. Always bet responsibly, but you can like take your amount of money that you're like, this is what I'm going to bet with, and then spread it out a little bit. Have some fun.
There you go. All right, so look out for the parlay as well, everybody. Like, look out for that. It'll be on DraftKings app when you go to bet UFC 301.
And we will tweet it out a bunch too. So like you'll see it. But it really should be on that app, like when you log in.
It is pretty cool to see. It's like us and Steve-O. It was the last time we did it.
Yeah, shout out Steve-O. He had a lot more bets than ours, but like still.
Yeah, hey, Steve-O, you know, he's earned that through years of, you know, torturing himself on Jackass.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm sending it to McCarthy right now to lock it in.
That
Let's
was
go.
the Spinning Backfist MMA show for UFC 301. It'll be a good card. We'll be live after the card. And hopefully we win some bets. We win this parlay. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. And thank you, New Amsterdam and DraftKings.